When ulimtoa kanisa yetu?
I got pregnant.
I had to man up and just tell my dad, kuna venye tumeenda.
Kisi ni wachawi. Tuka separate.
Maybe unakuwa fatigued with everything.
Yeah. Who takes longer to get ready?
Yeah.
It's me, really? No, I don't think so. It's you.
No.
Swim every ocean just to be with you.
Wakenya, ni wakati mwingine wa kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako. Jiunge na msafara wa KRA Roadshow, uwe fiti mambo ya returns. Ijumaa tarehe 5 na Jumamosi ya tarehe 6 mwezi Juni tutakuwa na mobile clinic mjini Nakuru katika eneo la Masai Market. Huko mjini Kericho tutakuwa eneo la Shivling Supermarket. Mjini Narok tutakuwa katika eneo la Posta. Mjini Eldoret tutakuwa eneo la Trukadero Stage, na mjini Kitale utatupata eneo la Kitale Bus Park. Tarehe 30 Juni iko mlangoni. Usingoje hadi dakika za mwisho. File KRA returns mapema. Ishi bila stress. Jijue, jibeta. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Good evening and welcome to Easy Friday. I'm Caren Kibbet. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We don't take it for granted that you have joined us for this special Easy Friday bulletin where we will keep you updated of what's happening across the globe. I'm with my colleague
John. Kago is my name indeed. Many thanks for choosing us tonight. We're looking at this cool unrest wave, a call for long-term solutions, also looking at the Ebola preparedness. We have business later and sports. But first things first, Karen Kibbet has the highlights.
And we don't have time. Going home will just waste their time. And right now, like for Form 4s, wherever we close school for even 1 week, they'll have lost a lot.
Rethinking strategy. Stakeholders in the education sector urge dialogue to end the wave of unrest as more schools close.
We don't have a firmed up figure, but it will be on the range of about 3 to 4 billion.
Relocating Nairobi Animal Orphanage. Kenya Wildlife Service says the exercise will cost between 3 and 4 billion Kenya shillings. Karioko and the Carrier Corps Memorial. In Friday's special segment, we revisit the history behind Karioko. Welcome to Easy Friday. Our sign language interpreter this evening is Anne Wangashi. Now, as schools across the country grapple with a wave of student unrest, education stakeholders are now pushing for long-term solutions to address the growing crisis.
Well, this comes as more schools closed today due to the unrest, with the ministry ruling out early midterm break.
Leaders and education officials have called for a national conversation to get to the root cause of the unrest in the country's schools. Our reporter Aaron Marie with this report.
Well, there has been reports of the resumption of learning in some schools, for example, Highway and Pumwani secondary schools, which has been affected by the ongoing school unrest. Disruption of learning in others has been reported, but despite the growing school tensions, the Ministry of Education has ruled out early midterm break. Stakeholders in education are weighing in on the matter.
We don't have time. Going home will just waste their time. And right now, like for Form 4s, wherever we close school for even 1 week, they'll have lost a lot. And this is the time we want them to fully prepare for the exams.
In Nairobi North sub-region, 2 schools that had been closed indefinitely have resumed learning, while another remains closed as authority continue consultations on the way forward.
Definitely we need to put our heads together to see what we can do, at least to arrest this situation at the moment and see what we can do.
Nairobi North Sub-Regional Commissioner Simon Osumba says stakeholders have been implementing recommendations aimed at improving student safety and restoring stability in schools.
We are on top of things. We are monitoring what is happening in our schools, and I can assure the parents whose children are learning in the institutions that the learners are safe.
Meanwhile, Matayo's members of Parliament Geoffrey Odanga is now urging the National Assembly Education Committee to convene an urgent meeting with the Education Cabinet Secretary to address the growing unrest.
Of course, the committee needs to call stakeholders, bring in the minister, the government part of it first, and maybe tunahitaji kwa mara nyingine kuwa na jopo kazi la kuweza kutembea na kutafuta maoni ya wale washikadau wakuu ili tuweze kuona jinsi tutaendelea.
The legislator is proposing the formation of National Education Task Force to engage students, parents, teachers, school administrators and education experts in identifying the root causes of unrest.
Na pia tunataka tuangalie sheria zetu ambazo tulipitisha miaka iliyopita za kuacha watoto hata uwezi kuchuna, uwezi kufanya nini.
Elsewhere in Nyeri, the Central Region Security Committee revealed a report on student unrest, stating that the availability of drugs and other prohibited substances among students, failure by some school administrations to address concerns raised by learners, and alleged incitement by teachers and political actors have been identified as key factors triggering the vice.
Every stakeholder should play their part. The security teams are going to deal. Of course, they have been doing that with the issue of the availability of substances around the schools. We have been fighting that. We'll continue doing that, but fight it vigorously. And also, we want the school management to make sure that they also address the problems that are affecting the students.
Speaking after the stakeholder meeting, Central Regional Commissioner Joshua Nkanada said the security agencies have intensified investigation and enforcement measures to curb the trend.
The situation has stabilized, and we are going as per the directive of the government that no school is going to be closed prematurely. The main terms, according to the government, will be from 24th. And this team, the teachers, the school management, the police officers, the girls will ensure that security prevails.
Reporting for Easy Friday, I'm Caren Marie.
All right, now it will cost the Kenya Wildlife Service between 3 and 4 billion shillings to conclude the proposed relocation of the animal orphanage currently within the Nairobi National Park.
KWS Director General Professor Erastus Kanga says the exercise to be undertaken in the next 1.5 years will see the animals moved to a new site next to Galleria Bomas that will, among others, provide adequate space for modern wildlife rescue and rehabilitation and improve accessibility for schools, tourists and researchers.
After 60 years of operation, this animal orphanage, said to be facing significant space limitations and visitor congestions, is almost closing its gates. Kenya Wildlife Service Director General Professor Erastus Kanga says the rescued animals will be moved to a new site that consists largely of open glade habitat with minimal indigenous tree cover and will provide adequate space for modern wildlife rescue and rehabilitation facilities.
We actually started the ground clearance, then because we wanted to know the actual measurements. You know, there is a drawing on the papers and getting on the ground. We've done some bit of clearance, that is on the grasslands. So we are hoping that by end of next year, August next year, the facility should be up and running.
The construction area is 89 acres with 81 acres dedicated to wildlife enclosures, rescue and rehabilitation spaces.
We are estimating that we can easily be able to accommodate 20,000 visitors in a day without any pressure at all.
The facility will also have a modern veterinary care center and expanded wildlife rescue and rehabilitation facilities.
What we have here is an opportunity for our veterinary teams, for our para-veterinary teams to come and train. We need to start taking our vet teams, export them out there, and even right now, we have a lot of our veterinary teams that are working outside in this country.
The Caren facility occupies only 7.4 acres of land, with animal enclosures contained by limited space and visitor congestion becoming a major challenge, especially during school visits. The Galleria Boma site was arrived at following extensive public participation involving Kenya Forest Service, Wildlife Research Institute, and Giraffe Center, among other stakeholders. Tilio Marco for Easy Friday.
All right, now Kenya has intensified its Ebola preparedness following the donation of specialized infection prevention and control equipment from the International Organization of Migration.
Public Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni, receiving the donation at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi, says the country is vigilant owing to its strategic position as a regional transport and trade hub, despite not having confirmed any Ebola case yet.
Well, among the supplies received include thermal guns for traveler screening, hand sanitizers, protective gloves, liquid soap, color-coded waste bins, bleach, granular chlorine, and disposable aprons.
The containment measures are aimed at safeguarding the country's borders against Ebola, Mpox, and other infectious diseases following reported outbreaks in neighboring Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
As the threat of infectious diseases continues to loom across the region, Kenya is tightening its defenses and enhancing vigilance. On Friday, the International Organization for Migration delivered a consignment of medical supplies to protect and enhance Kenya's surveillance of Ebola and other infectious diseases. The donation included thermal guns for traveler screening, hand sanitizers, protective gloves, liquid soap, color-coded waste bins, bleach, granular chlorine, and disposable aprons.
So these commodities will strategically be deployed to high-risk points of entry across our country.
Receiving the supplies at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Public Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni said the equipment will enhance screening, sanitation, and outbreak preparedness at airports and border points.
The nature of the public health threats in our interconnected region demands that we remain in a state of continuous, proactive vigilance as a premier regional hub for transport and trade.
We commend the government leadership in ensuring that Kenya borders remain adequately equipped while also promoting safe and orderly migration.
This comes as Kakamega County Deputy Governor Ayub Savula revealed plans to set up an Ebola quarantine center at Kakamega County Referral Hospital to manage suspected Ebola cases.
We agreed to set up the quarantine centers within the Kakamega County because it's a transit area along Busia, Bungoma to Eldoret. We have centers where we have drivers, truck drivers, who spend their night along those areas, and we are at a high risk of spreading the disease.
And part of the measures to contain an outbreak is establishment of quarantine centers. And we are not saying only one in Laikipia. We need to have quarantine centers all over this country because this country, we cannot afford to expose the Kenyans to Ebola.
He also announced plans for training programs and live simulation drills for healthcare workers to enhance rapid response capabilities, improve early case detection, and ensure patient safety in the event of an outbreak. Joseph Wahungu for Easy Friday.
Moving on, Democracy for Citizens Party leader Rigathi Gachagua has poked holes in the Finance Bill 2026-2027, saying some proposals in the bill risk making Kenya a more expensive place to live, work, invest and do business.
Well, speaking here in the capital, the former deputy president said a people-centered finance bill should focus on expanding the tax base, sealing revenue leakages, promoting investment, protecting taxpayers' rights, supporting farmers and creating an environment for businesses to thrive. Timothy Kipnusu reports.
As the debate on the Finance Bill 2026-2027 continues, a section of leaders led by Democracy for Citizens Party leader Rigathi Gachagua have weighed in on the matter. The former deputy president has cautioned members of parliament against introducing new taxes in the Finance Bill, saying Kenyans are already feeling the weight of the high cost of living.
We call on all elected representatives of the people to listen to the people and reject in total this budget estimate and Finance Bill 2026-2027.
Gachagua claims this is the most punitive finance bill in the country's history, saying it will add to the economic pressures being felt by Kenyan families.
This budget should have been an opportunity to reset our fiscal path. Instead, it risks deepening the same pattern of debt dependence, weak priorities, and citizen frustration.
He further claims the bill creates a cycle where businesses and citizens are repeatedly asked to shoulder a heavier burden to compensate for unrealistic fiscal planning.
We reject the idea that the national development is achieved by taxing people more. While we reject the idea that debt is an alternative to discipline. We reject the idea that a government can build prosperity by ignoring its citizens. Kenya will not be built by a budget that feeds bureaucracy. It will be built by a budget that empowers production, rewards honesty, and places people before politics.
According to Gachagua, the bill is also unfairly targeting the diaspora communities who should be investing back home while they work abroad. He at the same time raised concern about the public debt, which stands at 13 trillion shillings, with the debt to GDP ratio standing at 72.4%, which is far beyond the legal ceiling set by the Public Finance Management Act 2023.
I urge the people of Kenya that we remain vigilant. We must call out our elected leaders supporting this reckless budget estimate and punitive Finance Bill 2026-27. Keep a record of all those who will stand with the Kenyan people and those who will stand with this reckless proposal.
Timothy Kipnusu for Easy Friday.
Now, calls for strategic collaboration between national and county governments in addressing climate change and environmental conservation dominated the World Environmental Day celebrations across the country.
Now, Kenyans turned out to plant trees across the country as part of environmental conservation efforts and the push to increase the country's forest cover.
At the Old Kalao Arboretum in Nyandarua County, Environment, Climate Change and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Deborah Baraza led the country in celebrating the World Environment Day. She called for the pooling of resources and enhanced collaboration between the two levels of government to tackle climate change.
We are also making significant progress in protecting the Lake Olobolosat ecosystem through integrated conservation measures, community partnership, and sustainable management initiatives aimed at safeguarding this unique wetland for future generations.
The global climate models are predicted that there will be likelihood of the El Nino weather predictions. And the Kenya Meteorological Department, or KEMSA now, as they transition to be a state corporation, are working closely with the WMO, World Meteorological Organization, to be able to guide us on this event or phenomenon that is coming.
And in Kajiado County, Ushirika Wema Foundation founder Tessie Mudavadi spearheaded a tree planting exercise at the GS Water Access.
We also recognize that borehole projects being implemented across the police institution represent far more than the provision of water. They are a commitment to the well-being of men and women who serve and protect our nation.
I encourage all officers and trainees in this camp
to ensure that the trees that we shall plant today are properly cared for so that they grow to maturity.
Down at the coast, Kwale County residents and conservationists planted a total of 100,000 mangrove seedlings in Tsuza, Gutu area.
Of having partners coming to plant here, like the likes of DTB, KPA, IBA Africa, they are able not only just to help with the money from planting, but also they help the community with other things, like ensuring that the brilliant students are taken to school. Some of the schools here have been given water tanks.
Apart from just planting and growing trees, we also look at the benefit to the ecosystem. So with mangroves, we protect coastal lines.
The script was repeated in Kakamega County, where the region's governor, Fernandez Baraza, pushed for intensified efforts to protect the Kakamega tropical rainforest, calling it a critical ecological resource.
Lazima pia tushughulike na tushirikiane na jamaa ambao wanaishi hapa, wale ambao ni committees wa kuhifadhi msitu, tuwapatie nafasi, tupatiane seedlings za kutosha ya kupanda zile inaitwa indigenous trees katika msitu wetu wa Kakamega.
Similar restoration efforts were witnessed in Makueni and Kisii counties, where residents stand up in their numbers for tree planting drives to combat climate degradation.
From here, we're going to donate the tree seedlings to them so that they can be able to plant at their homes. We encourage people to plant at their homes so that we can be able to achieve the target, the forest cover in our region here in Kisii County.
John Kahiro for Easy Friday.
And you are watching Easy Friday. We take our first break. We have more news coming up when we return.
Wakenya, ni wakati mwingine wa kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako. Jiunge na msafara wa KRA Roadshow, uwe fiti mambo ya returns. Ijumaa tarehe 5 na Jumamosi ya tarehe 6 mwezi Juni tutakuwa na mobile clinic mjini Nakuru katika eneo la Masai Market. Huko mjini Kericho tutakuwa eneo la Shivling Supermarket. Mjini Narok tutakuwa katika eneo la Posta. Mjini Eldoret tutakuwa eneo la Trukadero Stage, na mjini Kitale utatupata eneo la Kitale Bus Park. Tarehe 30 Juni iko mlangoni. Usingoje hadi dakika za mwisho. File KRA returns mapema. Ishi bila stress. Jijue, jibeta. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Kawia ufiki, mimi sina haraka, bora kazi ifanye, lakini hata Waswahili wanasema kawia ufiki.
Atukatai.
Labe?
Za chakula.
Yaani, watu tumia pesa ngapi kwa siku?
Sijui kadiri yake mimi.
Kwa mwalimu?
Sijui. Hebu niambie.
Kwa kweli, wakimwalimu mtama wanadona ama wadoni?
Mambo alionipata cha kawaida.
Unafuatia nini huku? Ati ile jina la leso, nani anataka subira anataka. Ile jina la leso ile.
Tena mpe haraka aondoke hapa.
Bandu, inamaliza gogo.
Welcome back. For those joining us right now, this is Easy Friday. We proceed. The role of the youth in promoting political stability and regional integration dominated the start of a youth forum in Nairobi.
Well, youth representatives from the Great Lakes region held a 3-day forum to discuss ways to contribute towards promoting peace, security and sustainable development in the wake of emerging challenges.
Our reporter Aaron Marie attended the forum and brings us the details.
Young people from across the Great Lakes region gathered at the Kenya School of Government in Nairobi for a 3-day regional youth forum. The forum was convened to address conflict, promote peace, and foster regional cooperation. The forum has continued to grow over the years, providing a platform for young people to contribute ideas and influence policies affecting the region.
The idea of this forum is to contribute to the efforts of their excellencies, the heads of state, who are the apex body at the summit of the ICGLR Regional Youth Forum. Our work complements their aspirations to have a peaceful existence for the people, and for us in particular, the young people of the region of the Great Lakes.
Among the highlights of the forum was a review of progress made under the Regional Youth Forum program and discussions on future priorities.
We must ensure that our youth voices are represented, not only in discussions about their future, but also in shaping the policies, programs, and institutions that govern our society.
The forum is expected to produce recommendations aimed at increasing youth participation in peace processes, strengthening regional cooperation, and supporting programs that create opportunities for young people.
We work to ensure that young people's aspirations are present in the youth peace and security agenda.
The major growth has been the operationalization of the office, because it's taken a while. It's taken about 8 to 10 years to just have it running. And we're really, really thankful to the government of Kenya for that.
Aaron Marie for Easy Friday.
All right, now 256,000 eligible taxpayers in North Rift have filed their returns so far. That number is higher compared to the 234,000 who filed their returns during the same period last year. This was revealed during a sensitization tour by KRA, urging Kenyans to file their returns.
The number of those who filed their returns in the region includes active payers and those filing nil returns. The taxman, in the meantime, is targeting an 85% compliance rate in the ongoing file and pay period by the close of 30th June.
Well, now such compliance would see the number of active payers rise to 73,000 in the region. The file and pay campaign, dubbed Jijue Jibeta, was in Uasin Gishu County, sensitizing eligible taxpayers on the new self-care plan on WhatsApp or a short code.
KRA and its media partner, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, made several stops in Cheptiret, Ngeria, Kimumu, Eldoret Town, Langas and Huruma.
In the last financial year, that is 2024-2025 financial year, we did 70% of our taxpayers we were able to file. The taxpayers constituted 85,000. In the current financial year, we are looking forward to increasing the number of taxpayers who are going to file in this particular period, and we are looking forward to a number of 85% and above. Why the 85% and above? We are talking of the various measures that Kenya Revenue Authority have put in place to ensure that taxpayers have been enabled to file their returns easily. We have we have the WhatsApp platform under the number 0711 099 999, which is really easily accessible to most people who have smartphones and are able easily to access and be able to file their returns.
Well, the National Cancer Survivors Day was marked Friday with renewed calls for early diagnosis, affordable care, and stronger support system for cancer patients.
Celebrations to mark the day were also characterized by calls for more investment in cancer prevention, treatment, and patient support.
For many Kenyans living with cancer, the battle extends beyond hospital wards to the emotional, social, and financial realities associated with treatment. Health experts say many cancer cases in Kenya are still detected at advanced stages, reducing chances of successful treatment and increasing the cost of care.
When cancer is detected early, it is easier to treat, it is even cheaper to treat, the cure rate is higher.
For Derek Omondi, diagnosed with capsicum in 2022, treatment meant relying on regular fundraisers to pay for chemotherapy and other procedures. He says the repeated cycle of treatment and the recurrence of cancer placed a heavy emotional and financial burden on him and his family.
apart from the financial burden, is the side effects. You know, chemotherapy is a grenade. When it gets to your body, it affects everything. That's why your hair runs away. So it affects you emotionally, it affects you. You get into a very bad shape. At times, you even don't want people to see you. But since you're fundraising and you literally begging people to give you money, you just have to avail yourself. So it was a very tough period.
Breast cancer survivor Margaret Wanjiru also recalls the devastating impact of the disease on her family life. Following her diagnosis, she faced mounting treatment costs and personal struggles that eventually led to the breakdown of her marriage.
Mzee wangu naye pia hakuwa anaelewa hii ni nini. So aliona tu tukilipa NHIF, hiyo wakati tulikuwa tunalipa NHIF, alilipa tu NHIF for 1 year. So ni hata nikienda pale kwake nikimuitisha pesa alikuwa nauliza, si nimelipa NHIF, pesa ingine ni ya nini? Na hiyo ilifanya hata tuseparate na yeye.
The experiences reflect the reality facing many cancer patients across the country. Speaking during National Cancer Survivors Day, health experts stressed the need to enhance public awareness and promote routine screening to reduce late diagnosis, often linked to poor treatment outcomes.
We're creating a lot of awareness, and we are happy the media is doing a very good job. The uptake is still not where we want to do, but everything is step by step, and we are hoping many more people will come up.
While advances in treatment have increased the survival rates for cancer patients, stakeholders say patients still face a number of challenges ranging from stigmatization to high cost of care. Reporting for KBC Channel 1, I'm Noel Ongeso.
Thank you, Noel, for that report. Moving on, National Heroes Council has partnered with Kilifi County government to honor and recognize national heroes and heroines posthumously.
Well, the initiative will also see the two entities identify heritage sites in their respective regions.
Now, according to the National Heroes Council chairman, Jimmy Angwenyi, the move will also inspire future generations to strive for greatness.
National Heroes Council, led by Chairman Jimmy Angwenyi, joined the Kilifi County government officials, led by Governor Gideon Mung'aro, to honor freedom fighter Mnyazi wa Menza, also known as Mekatilili wa Menza, posthumously.
Mekatilili wa Menza alifungwa Kisii, wakihitaji wakiliama wakihitaji mali tunaweza kuwapatia.
Gathered at Kilifi County Governor's official residence, the council awarded a medal, certificate and citation honor to the family of the late Mekatilili for her positive societal contribution in the struggle to the Kenyan independence in the early 1910s.
We are forgetting our heroes. And if we are forgetting our heroes, we are losing the history of our country. The Heroes Council is challenged by those sentiments, and I believe the council were here, they have listened to that. We are taking home a very strong message.
The council announced an initiative to identify heritage sites in respective region.
We have discussed with the governor, and we want to see how we can project to do that monument and also secure that site as a historical site for in terms of our heritage.
In his part, Area County Governor Gideon Mung'aro pledged to work with the council to identify local heritage sites.
They need to engage more and recognize their heroes. So as we write history of this country, everybody will be able to know so-and-so from Wajir, so-and-so from Hola was part of the history of this country.
He further challenged the council to come up with a book that enlists and encompasses all heroes and heroines across the county.
Well, not called, just dig it, there's history of those areas so that we can make, maybe one day you come with a small book as a Heroes Council to mention the people who have contributed on what in this country.
The council has so far extended a similar partnership with the counties of Mandera, Marsabit, Elgeyo Marakwet and now Kilifi.
Now, health facilities have been challenged to integrate club food screening into maternal and newborn care services to ensure early detection and intervention.
Stakeholders in the health sector say early diagnosis and treatment can result in more than 95 successful correction.
Friday, Kenya held its first ever national symposium on clubfoot, a congenital condition in which a child is born with one or both feet twisted inward and downward. Among the attendees were Ricky Naimi, his wife Zuhura, and their 10-month-old daughter who was born with clubfoot. The couple now says their daughter is making impressive progress due to early intervention.
First of all, you have to be patient, because sometimes you go for casting, when you reach home, the cast breaks, so you have to go back.
It's the most important investment I feel like I've ever made, but it was not easy. Like transportation was very difficult for us, finding the right group of doctors, and about 3 days ago, my little girl stood up for the first time.
When we start treatment early, which is basically non-operative, meaning that we don't go doing surgeries for it, the results have been very good.
If clubfoot is captured at day 1, 90% of those children by the age of 5 will walk, and you'll not even see any trace.
Counties have also been challenged to integrate clubfoot services into their health plans and budget to enhance access.
Some of the things CHPs can do is actually to identify suspected cases. They'll educate families. They'll track defaulters. They'll support follow-up visits and also reduce stigma.
As we continue advancing universal health coverage and strengthening primary health care, we must ensure that the services for children with congenital conditions are fully integrated into maternal, newborn with child care programs.
Nearly 200,000 children are born with clubfoot worldwide annually. Nancy Okware, Easy Friday.
Now, young people with disabilities across Africa continue to face significant barriers in accessing assistive technology devices, limiting their opportunities in education, employment, and economic participation.
Well, the technology report revealed that only a fraction of persons living with disabilities can afford the devices, and access is often affected by prohibitive costs, stigma, and supply chain breakdowns.
Speaking during the commissioning of the report in Nairobi, Mastercard Foundation inclusion leader Solu Sola urged policy makers, innovators, and disability advocates to prioritize investments and access to these devices for those who need them.
Many young people with disabilities who need assistive technology across the continent do not have it, and as a result they are excluded from education, from economic opportunities, and countries, the countries across the continent lose a significant part of their GDP because of that.
And for the very few who are aware of assistive technology and have been able to use it, they have not really been able to optimize the use of the assistive technology, because many services to support the technology, to educate them on how to use the assistive technology, as well as provide maintenance, was not available.
Because out-of-pocket is one of the biggest barriers to young people with disabilities obtaining an assistive device. So it's good to get this information out there so that, policymakers, innovators, manufacturers, and disability advocates can advocate more for young people to receive assistive technology.
Right now, students in the country have been urged to embrace talent-based education as it complements the competence-based education curriculum.
Speaking during the graduation of more than 80 talent-based learners from the African Talent University in Kisumu, education stakeholders called on parents to support their children in embracing the technical pathway, underscoring the paradigm shift in the country's education system.
Well, they noted the current system accords a priority to innate abilities and the interests of the individual learner, as opposed to the academic-oriented system.
Talent-based education at the institution is supported by the human machine and innovation that detects innate abilities of an individual.
Leo ni siku muhimu sana kwa ajili ni siku ambayo unapata shahada kubwa sana kwa maisha, kwa kazi ambayo tumekuwa tukifanya kupitia talanta yetu. Na ndio maana nasema talanta ni kazi, talanta ni maisha, na talanta ndio kitu kikubwa sana saizi katika industry, na kila mtu aweze kuangalia talent yake as a business.
Make sure you nurture your own talents. You don't have to go to have the academics and everything, but as long as you have the talent, you can work hard and get whatever you want.
The learning process is not a mere syllabus. It uses what we call GINA talent prescription. That I give you a prescription just like a hospital, defining tasks that you need to perform to enhance the innate abilities that I've discovered. That's what you call talent development, enhancement of your God-given unique values.
I think this is the best way of education because, people are graduating from what they can do.
This innovative idea. Thank you.
Kenyan history is showcased in various forms. Today's Kenyans relive their history through music, folktales, monuments, among others. At the Nairobi's Central Business District stands a feature that tells of the journey walked by past generations.
Well, a few kilometers away in a bustling neighborhood known for its market and matatus lies a name rooted in war, Karioko, a local pronunciation that resorted to its current name.
In our inaugural segment on Know Your History, Aaron Marie traces the powerful and often forgotten connection between Karioko and the African soldiers and porters who served in the First World War.
When you hear of Kariako, what comes to your mind? What do those who reside here think?
Sikia inaitwa Karioko juu wakaamba juu ya hizi kirio na hizi kuku.
It's a marketplace. Chenye unahitaji huwezi kosa.
The name Kariako is not just a name. It is widely understood to be a local adaptation of the words Kariakos.
Jengo hili ilijengwa na wakoloni na hapo ndipo jina la Kariako ilitoka kwa sababu kulikuwa na regiment ya wakoloni ilikuwa inaitwa Kariakops.
During the World War I, more than 400,000 African men across British East Africa were recruited and often forcibly conscripted into the Kariakos. They were not frontline combatants but porters. They carried food, ammunition, weapons and supplies across a vast and forgiving terrain during the East African campaign against German forces in the neighboring Tanganyika. Kenya, then a British colony, was drawn into the war because it was part of the empire. African recruits served alongside the kings of African rifles. They rendered a similar service in the World War II that ran from 1939 to 1946. Subsequently, this monument was put up on what was then Delamere Avenue, today's Kenyatta Avenue, to honor the Africans who were involved in the British East African campaign against the Germans. This is to the memory of the native African troops who fought, to the carriers who were the feet, hands of the army, and to all other men who served and died for their king and country in the Eastern Africa in the Great War, 1914 to 1918. If you fight for your country, even if you die, your sons will remember your name. Quoting British writer Rudyard Kipling, and which is also translated in Kiswahili and Arabic. It speaks of loyalty, service, and remembrance. But historians argue the memorial reflects more of the colonial perspective than the lived experience of the carriers themselves. When Kenya gained independence in 1963, statues of colonial monarchs, including King George V, were removed from the city square. They were replaced by monuments celebrating indigenous leadership, such as Kenya founding father Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. But the Kariakors Memorial remained. Today, life in Kariakor moves quickly. The area is bustling with activity. Few, however, connect the name of the neighborhood to a global war fought more than a century ago. Kariakor and the Kariakors Memorial tell a powerful story. They remind us that public monuments are not just art, they carry with them a story.
Perhaps next time you hear about Kariakor, you'll remember the history. Reporting for Know Your History, I'm Aaron Marie.
Easy. I am clean. So this leaves you. See?
Who's he? Hey! Mwanamke anajaribu, si ndio?
Kama sijamuona. Sijamuona madam. Hello. Who's this?
My name is Tabitha Wairimu Onyego.
Yeah, my name is Enoch Onyego Matundura. We used to live the same area.
Our parents were neighbors. I thought he's married. He looked very mature. Customer hi one day, miraculous. I was like, wow, we are not cheat. One day ulimtoa kanisa yetu. I got pregnant.
I had to man up and just tell my dad,
Kisi ni wachawi. Tuka separate.
You know, fatigued with everything.
Yeah. Who takes longer to get ready?
Yeah.
It's me, really? No, I don't think so. It's you.
No.
Swim every ocean just to be with you.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. Now, our post-mortem report for the late Charles Mwangi, who died during the protest against the construction of an Ebola quarantine center in Nanyuki, has confirmed that he died of a gunshot wound.
Well, in Chuka, Igambangombe constituency, a member of parliament, Patrick Munene, has called for justice following the brutal killing of 2 residents in Kamwembe.
Speaking during the burial ceremony, Munene urged security agencies to move with speed to investigate the incident and ensure those responsible are brought to book.
The postmortem exercise conducted on Friday at Nanyuki Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary indicate that Charles Mwangi died of excessive bleeding from a gunshot wound which he sustained during a protest against construction of an Ebola quarantine center in Nanyuki. According to pathologist Peter Ndegwa, the victim's backbone was injured by a bullet leading to excessive bleeding. Family members are now calling for justice for their son, noting that they are satisfied that they now know the cause of his death.
We urge IPOA to do thorough investigation, not only on this case, but in all the previous cases that we've handled, and make sure the perpetrators and the killer cops are arrested and jailed. This is so unfortunate that young, vibrant lives are being lost.
In Chuka, 2 residents who were brutally killed in Kamwimbi, Chuka Igambangombe constituency, have been buried. Chuka Igamba Ng'ombe MP Patrick Munene called for justice for the victims' families. The legislator urged security agencies to expedite investigations and ensure that all those responsible for the killings are arrested and prosecuted. Munene also demanded the immediate transfer of officers stationed at Kamwimbi police station, accusing them of laxity amid rising insecurity.
Familia imewahi piga ripoti Chuka station wakuwa threatened tena na mauaji, and it accused that is in Lekons. So tunachunguza nini? How do you investigate something when the culprits and the suspects have not been arrested?
In Machakos, the county has launched the first free prosthetic limb services program in the lower eastern region, benefiting 68 amputees, including 58 residents from Machakos and 10 from neighboring counties. Governor Wavinya Ndeti said an additional 200 beneficiaries are set to receive prosthetic limbs in the coming days. The county plans to establish a prosthetics assembly facility to lower cost with plans to decentralize the services to all level 4 hospitals.
Tutaanzisha factory ya kutengeneza miguu. Ndio watu wetu wa Machakos wasaidike, na hata wale wengine outside Machakos wafanye nini? Wasaidike. Mimi nina furaha sana hapa, niko na 51 beneficiaries who are getting miguu yao leo from Machakos County.
In Kisumu, boda riders have been challenged to form and join SACCOs in order to benefit from empowerment programs targeting the sector. Speaking at an empowerment drive, Kisumu Central MP Joshua Oron noted the contribution of the sector in creating employment opportunities for the Kenyan youth, underscoring the need for sustainable support by leaders.
When I was campaigning in 2022, I promised border of Kisumu Central and Kisumu County that they will be empowered, that this is an opportunity for us, this is an opportunity for all of us to give them that promise. And today I'm here with my colleagues, I'm here with other guests, that we are empowering border.
For Easy Friday, I am Teresa Mutai.
All right then, and it's a shift of gears now. Is the Friday first part where we brief you on the main news of the day. We also now move to business news, and joining us on set is Nduta Mukami. Welcome.
And a very good evening to you. Welcome to Easy Friday Business News. My name is Ndotamo Kami. Let's take a look at what is happening in the world of business. Now, an Economic Advisory Council for SACCOs is being created to strengthen governance, policy engagement, and the coordination in the cooperative movement. Cooperative Alliance of Kenya Chief Executive Officer Daniel Marube says the proposed council will help the cooperative movement engage more effectively with the government and other stakeholders.
Supports financial services, agriculture, housing, transport and enterprise development. However, cooperative movement leaders say stronger coordination and governance structures are needed to enhance accountability and strengthen engagement with public and private sector stakeholders.
Every time a CAK, as we speak for every cooperative in this country without discrimination, including regions, and also having the new tenants in terms of governance in the board, especially on inclusivity, gender, the majority groups, to ensure that their voice is heard as we move on. That was the main key which brought us together.
The Economic Advisory Council, that will draw membership from chairpersons of SACCOs, will recommend policy reforms and governance issues.
We are looking for, and what we want, is an effective system that works to serve the members, to avoid self-serving and also conflict between the management and the board.
The chairman have said they will speak in one voice. They will support CAK in advocating for good regulations, good laws, and good environment upon which cooperatives will be running. So from now onwards, the chairman will be taking control of the affairs of the cooperatives in Kenya.
SACCO leaders believe the proposed council will improve coordination between boards and management, as well as reduce operational conflicts.
The relationship between the management and the board in terms of how to carry their duty without a lot of friction for efficient delivery to our members. More importantly, to focus on our members and also to establish the trajectory for the next 5 years as we move as a cooperative movement.
The new reforms are expected to position the cooperative movement to respond effectively to emerging challenges and economic opportunities. And in the world of e-mobility, the Kenya Power and Lightning Company is developing an online platform that will enable electric vehicle users to locate active EV chargers across the country in real time. Kenya Power e-mobility manager David Mugambi says the platform will be ready in the next 6 months and will aid users in planning journeys as they seek to use Kenya Power and other third-party chargers.
Under the National Energy Compact, the government launched phased rollouts to establish 10,000 public charging stations by 2030, heavily targeting major transport corridors like the Mombasa-Nairobi-Busia Highway. Now plans are underway to deepen connectivity to these chargers virtually.
Piloting a national platform, a platform which you can be able to see your chargers on a single app. And that is something we are looking at also in the next 6 months to introduce into the market, and we are hoping the sector will support us by onboarding as many chargers into this platform so that the eventual winner, who is the driver, should be able to see chargers without having to struggle as you're asking, where are these chargers?
However, charging stations are just one part of the EV ecosystem. What else are stakeholders in this sector saying?
So when it comes to some of the concerns we have as EV players within the industry is how do we concentrate uptake? How do we improve uptake of these vehicles, not just within Nairobi?
And what else can we do to improve the ecosystem? Talk to us, tell us what is missing, what are we doing?
I think being at the 4th annual conference of KPLC Mobility and having been there in the subsequent years, 2023, 2024, 2025 and 2026, it's clear the industry has grown. And it is not what it used to be several years ago. However, for it to get to where it ought to be, we are partnering, we are seeing this conference as the platform to highlight those things we're looking for. The theme of the conference is around policy alignment, infrastructure development, and partnerships.
During the second and final day of the Kenya Power's 4th annual e-mobility stakeholders conference and expo, stakeholders called for more partnerships to grow Kenya's EV ecosystem, even as the country continues to implement the national e-mobility policy. You no longer have an excuse not to have one electric vehicle in your household. There is a range of charging infrastructure and the type of vehicles on the road as well. Alan Auko, Easy Friday.
Thank you, Alan, for that report. And now in the world of agriculture, adoption of climate-smart solutions remains low among smallholder farmers in Kenya due to the high cost of technologies. World Bank Climate Research Technical Team Leader for Africa, Vivian Perego, is challenging the private sector to play a bigger role in dissemination of climate-smart technologies to smallholder farmers to reduce risks and boost food production.
The World Bank has facilitated development of over 130 climate-smart technologies in its 5-year climate research program aimed at helping countries adapt to the growing impacts of climate change. The World Bank is calling for more private sector investment to scale up production and commercialize the innovations as more financing is needed to bridge the gap between research and the market.
Other lenders, other investors can co-invest in throughout their own programs, can invest in supporting the adoption of these innovations across their portfolio of beneficiaries.
Perego says wider adoption of the technologies will make modern equipment more affordable and accessible to smallholder farmers.
So what ICRO did was to partner with microfinance institutions, village savings loans and associations, and loans associations, as well as agribusinesses, to support the private sector to come in and support farmers in their adoption.
Wakulima ambao kwa sehemu kame, shida yao kubwa sana ni maji. Na tuko na mito na tuvijito tudogo, tunakimbiza maji sana wakati wa mvua. Tuko na zile wanaitanga erratic rains, siko na maji mengi. Kwa hivyo kama hiyo maji ingehifadhiwa, hao wakulima angetumia hiyo maji kuendeleza kilimo chao.
Na tukijua ya kwamba maji ni haki ya kila mtu, wakati mwingine ni vigumu kusema maji ni ya juu, sio watu ya chini. Kwa hivyo wakati tumeadapt hii system ya ukulima, inasaidia sana kuhifadhi maji, na hayo maji yanabaki yanaweza kuteremka, yanaenda yanasaidia wale watu wako sehemu za kule chini.
The forum underscored the need for more innovations that will link farmers with extension services.
Capacitating, training farmers on these technologies, therefore developing knowledge product that explain and explicit what does it entail, what is it for.
Benson Rioba reporting for Easy Friday.
Easy. I am clean. So this leaves you. See?
Who's he? Hey! Mwanamke anajaribu, si ndio?
Kama sijamuona. Sijamuona madam. Hello. Who's this?
The goal today is to help you find the light at the end of a very dark tunnel. And if we leave you with even a small glimmer of hope, then we've done our job.
I tried to rush through the process, and it did me no favors whatsoever. And I got stuck in what you call complicated.
Sometimes it's hard to carry the weight of grief.
Yeah.
And grief is not limited to death. It can look like divorce. It can look like the death of a pet. It can look like a major life transition where we are grieving and our body feels the symptoms where it's hard to think beyond that. And so processing with a licensed clinician, number one, we're not gonna tell your business.
Welcome back to Easy Friday Business News. Now, Kenya will strengthen oversight in the fast-growing gambling sector as Africa's online betting and gaming market is projected to grow to 2.6 trillion shillings by 2030. Speaking at the Gaming Tech Summit Africa in Nairobi, Gambling Regulatory Authority Director General Peter Mbogi says the country is focused on building a modern regulatory framework that will safeguard consumers and support responsible gaming to create certainty for investors. The summit brought together regulators and industry players from across the continent to discuss taxation, compliance, cross-border cooperation, and measures to curb illegal gambling operations.
Itself demands that we institute a central monitoring system for all participants in the gambling environment. This is for both those with online operations and those with land-based operations. We are now in the process of putting that into place so that every single participant does not need to self-declare. They simply need to integrate with the central monitoring system, and the regulator will be able to have sight of every transaction that happens in a gambling operation here in Kenya.
Now, 1 week to the budget presentation in Parliament next week, the Finance Bill 2026 has emerged as a delicate balancing act between raising government revenue and easing the pressure on households still grappling with a high cost of living. Unlike previous finance bills that proposed tax hikes, this year's bill largely avoids introducing new taxes on basic commodities. Trevor Ngendo joins us with more details.
Among the proposals likely to provide relief to consumers is the retention of VAT exemptions on several essential food items, including bread, eggs, onions and potatoes. The move is expected to shield households from immediate increases in food prices at a time when many families continue to struggle with rising living expenses. The bill also contains measures aimed at supporting investment in healthcare, clean energy and capital markets through various tax incentives and exemptions. Taxpayers with outstanding penalties and interest may also benefit from a proposed tax amnesty, allowing them to regularize their tax status by settling principal tax liabilities. However, while the government has spared many essential goods from new taxes, several proposals are likely to increase the cost of everyday transactions. A key concern is the proposed introduction of 16% value-added tax on digital financial services. The measures could affect mobile money transactions, digital payment platforms and certain banking services, potentially increasing the cost of sending money, making payments and conducting businesses difficult. On this, stakeholders warn that the move could undermine financial inclusion by making digital transactions more expensive for millions of Kenyans who rely on mobile money for daily economic activities. Consumers may also feel the impact of a proposal to increase excise duty on mobile phones and cellular devices from 10% to 25%. If approved, the measure is expected to raise the retail cost of smartphones and other communication devices, potentially affecting access to digital services and internet connectivity. The second-hand clothing sector, commonly known as the mitumba industry, is also facing new tax measures that traders are worried could translate into higher clothing prices for consumers. Additional taxation proposals targeting betting and gambling activities could similarly reduce winnings for punters. For tenants, concerns have also emerged over a proposed increase in residential rental income tax from 7.5% to 10%, with fears that landlords will pass the additional cost on to them. The Finance Bill 2026 further seeks to strengthen the powers of the Kenya Revenue Authority through enhanced compliance and enforcement measures. The taxman argues that the changes are necessary to curb tax evasion and boost revenue collection, as a section of Kenyans raise concerns of increased scrutiny and compliance burdens for taxpayers. The ultimate impact of the bill, however, may not be felt at the supermarket shelves, but rather through Kenyans' phones, mobile money wallets, and daily digital transactions. Trevor Ngendo for Easy Friday.
And of course, KBC Channel 1 will be bringing you all the latest when the budget is set to be read next week. Now, the Kenya Climate Change Adaptation Program has launched a new technology in the country to harness satellite imagery, machine learning, and AI-powered analytics to generate real-time insights on crop performance. Ministry of Agriculture Secretary Peter Owoko says technology dubbed Adapt Kenya will help farmers and policymakers make faster, more informed decisions, particularly in supporting smallholder farmers.
The need for technology in agriculture has become increasing. Estimates show that Kenyan farmers lose billion shillings annually through post-harvest losses, while climate-related shocks continue to affect crop yields and productivity. Stakeholders say the adoption of artificial intelligence and data-driven systems will help farmers make more informed decisions, reduce losses and improve food security.
Most of the time what we are doing manually at the moment in terms of collecting data. For example, we need to do assessment at the end of every season. And when you have to do it physically, it means you have to send out teams to some of these parts of the country which you can't even access.
Newly launched Adapt Kenya program will integrate satellite imagery, machine learning and artificial intelligence tools to track crop conditions in real time, assess yields and detect climate-related risks as they emerge.
Our farmers are able to then get timely market information so that then they can become more resilient with production, resilient even in terms of making decisions with regards to what's going on in the climate and with the climate environment. Then that will present an opportunity for the farmers to make better decisions in terms of when to produce, what to produce.
Efforts from the government as they lead the initiative in other similar efforts in digitalizing agriculture in Kenya is complementary because it gives us the space, whether you are private, from startup, from academia, how we can develop together, how we can responsibly share and govern data so that at the end of the day we all see those initiatives bring a positive change.
Its successful implementation will help address long-standing constraints in the sector, particularly for smallholder farmers who remain most vulnerable to climate variability and information gaps. Trevor Ngendo for Easy Friday.
Thank you, Trevor. Tana River County is nearing implementation of a marine spatial plan that will guide the sustainable use of its 76-kilometer coastline and marine resources through a data-driven approach that balances environmental, economic and social priorities. Stakeholders meetings in Minjila town validated the draft plan, with national and county officials saying it will help reduce resource use conflicts, protect marine ecosystems, and enhance benefits by local communities from Indian Ocean opportunities.
Marine Special Plan is a public data-driven process for the allocation of human activities in marine spaces in order to achieve ecological, economic and social objectives.
Kuna utafiti mwingi ambao umefanywa na wanasayansi kuangalia zile rasilimali ambazo ziko baharini. So zikichanganywa zote kwa pamoja, alafu tukichanganya na hii plan ambayo hivi sasa tunaivalidate, itatuonyesha sisi, je, tumesimama wapi katika uchumi katika kuendeleza maendeleo yetu baharini.
The development of the Marine Special Plan, which is at its second stage in Tana River County, has had stakeholders validate the initial document.
We are ensuring that all stakeholders using the water bodies can align their activities for the benefits of now and even in the future.
Officials said the validation process helped raise awareness on the value of the coastline and the Indian Ocean, while ensuring benefits from marine resources are shared with local communities.
And I think that was also a mistake even when we were going to school. Our map just showed up to the shoreline, and we still have 200 nautical miles inside the sea that was not being seen as part of Kenya. And you know, the EEZ of Kenya is half the size of the earth.
The 5 counties sharing the Indian Ocean coastline are working on the Marine Spatial Plan to promote sustainable resource use and reduce conflicts. It has been 5 years of developing the Marine Spatial Plan, which coast residents hope will unlock sustainable economic opportunities, improve livelihoods, and drive long-term development.
Hii mambo ya sehemu tengefu tumeona sisi tutaiunga mkono kwa hali na mali, kwa sababu tumeona itatusaidia
wakati wa kuvuna. Pia watatuhusisha sisi ndio tutaenda, watu wa kwanza tutafikiriwa ni sisi, sana sana sisi kina mama karanga, kwa sababu tupate kufanya biashara zetu.
Judith Akolo, Easy Friday.
And that's where we put a cap tonight on Easy Friday Business News. Don't go too far. On the other side of the studio is Caren Kibbet with the latest in the world of sports. Thank you for your time. Do have yourselves a lovely weekend ahead.
Are you ready for the next big thing in tech? Well, we'll spotlight Kenya's brightest young minds, game-changing startups, and breakthrough technology that are shaping our future. From AI and robotics to sustainable futures, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. Let's now take a look at all the sports stories making headlines tonight.
Now, the stars of the 2025-2026 SportPesa Premier League season were celebrated last night in style at the Premier League Gala Awards held in Nairobi, with Gor Mahia midfielder Enoch Morrison and Murang'a Seal striker Joseph Waithira emerging the biggest winners of the evening.
The cream of Kenyan football gathered in Nairobi as the SportPesa Premier League honored the standout performers of the 2025-2026 season.
Enoch Morrison.
Ladies and gentlemen! Leading the list of winners was Gor Mahia's Enoch Morrison, who capped off an impressive campaign by winning the coveted Most Valuable Player award. Morrison also walked away with the Best Midfielder accolade, underlining his influence in Gor Mahia's successful season.
This award, once again, and surely I will dedicate it to the late Raila Odinga.
And the winner is Joseph Waithira.
Murang'a Seal forward Joseph Waithira also enjoyed the memorable night after claiming the Golden Boot award as the league's top scorer. Waithira further earned recognition from his peers by being named Players' Player of the Season. Gor Mahia's dominance was further reflected in the coaching category, where head coach Charles Akono was named Coach of the Season following an outstanding campaign. Mara Sugar defender Jimmy Owili was recognized as the best defender of the season, while Shabana FC shortstopper Stephen Ochieng took home the Best Goalkeepers award.
We know we have very good football. Once we have broadcast sponsors, SportPesa on board, we are sure that we'll be at another level even as we get into AFCON next year.
Let us continue to work together to elevate Kenyan football to greater heights. I know we will get there eventually. More work, more commitment, more dedication, more resilience, consistency.
The future of Kenyan football was also celebrated, with Kariobangi Sharks youngster Humphrey Aroko winning the Young Player of the Season. In the team's category, Mara Sugar received the Most Disciplined Team award.
And the winner is Tayadok of Gor Mahia.
The evening also recognized supporters who continue to drive passion of the game, with Gor Mahia super fan Leonard Onyango, popularly known as Tayadok, being named the Fan of the Season.
To all the winners of the SportPesa Premier League Awards 2025-2026 season. Moving on, the national sevens team Shujaa were drubbed 31-12 by Fiji in their opening match of the HSBC 7 World Championship Series in Bodo in Pool A. Shujaa is playing defending South Africa tonight in their pool match before they face Great Britain tomorrow. They are currently placed 8th on the log, which is the ceiling position to securing the core status in their top tier 7 series. Now, record 22-time champions Gor Mahia have been rewarded 1 million Kenya shillings with their partners Kansai Plascon Kenya after winning the 2025-2026 FKF Premier League title. Gor Mahia reclaimed the title from Kenya Police FC to win the title with 2 matches to spare ahead of bitter rivals AFC Leopards and finished the season with 69 points, 5 ahead of Ingwe. Speaking during the event held on Friday in Nairobi, Kansai Plascon Kenya Managing Director Enami Kota announced an improved 30 million shillings 3-year deal and a further 1.5 million Kenya shillings to boost the club's continental preparations for the CAF Champions League.
We wanted to see Go to a different level, and with that we also want to grow our business too. And while we're doing that, we also wanted to give back to the Kenyan community, the society, the football culture, and I think that's what the private sector is.
The greatest lesson learned is that teamwork works. It has all been to do with the teamwork at all levels. The playing unit, the office, the fans, the Green Army, the technical bench. It's been a collective effort this time round, and that is what has won us the league.
Nairobi is set to host the 2026 Davis Cup Africa Group 4 after a 6-year hiatus from the 17th to the 20th of June at the Nairobi Club. 8 nations will compete in a round-robin format for promotion to Group 3. Sean Muya has the details.
The prestigious international tournament, which was launched today at the Nairobi Club, will be a major boost for local tennis development, giving Kenyan players a chance to compete on home soil while exposing officials, coaches and organizers to international standards, according to tournament director Francis Mutuku. He added that it was a part of a long-term strategy to position Kenya as a tennis hub in Africa through stronger partnerships, improved facilities and grassroots development programs.
So we are looking forward to the players having a very, very good time in terms of the playing surface, because it will be much better than what they have been used to. And that has been one of the big interests in terms of Kenya hosting big events, because players wanted a good surface.
So it's very prestigious for the players. First, they carry the flag of the nation, and then, of course, on their own personal level, it is very good for their development and very good for their tennis career.
The 2026 Davis Cup Africa Group 4 draw is set to take place next week on Tuesday, with the matches scheduled to be played at the Nairobi Club. The teams expected to compete in the 4-day tournament include, among others, Algeria, Ghana, Mozambique and Angola. Sean Muya for Easy Friday.
Now, a strong and a competitive entry of 96 golfers is set for the second leg of the 2026 Sunshine Development Tour East Africa Wing, which is set to tee off on Sunday at the Royal Nairobi Golf Club. The 3-day tournament, scheduled for June 7th to 9th, has drawn golfers from 11 countries.
Players from Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, Nigeria, Ghana, Zimbabwe, Cote d'Ivoire, India, USA, UK will battle for crucial official World Golf Ranking points, World Amateur Golf Ranking points, Order of Merit points, and a share of the 2 million shillings prize pass as the race for Sunshine Tour progression intensifies. The field features a compelling blend of established professionals, elite amateurs, junior players, and leading women golfers from across the continent. Leading the charge will be the first leg winner, Celestine Sanzuwera of Rwanda, who will be joined by fellow Sunshine Development Tour winners Dismas Indiza, Greg Snow, and newly turned professional John Legirma, Uganda's Abraham Ainamani, Geita Rodel Tadeo, Philip Kasozi, and Marvin Kibirige, among others. Elsewhere, the gaming stakeholders converged in Nairobi during a summit that brought together regulators, policymakers, investors, technology providers, and legal experts conversing on taxation, public revenue, digital payments, consumer protection, and the cost of unregulated activity. Africa's online betting and gaming market is projected to grow from an estimated $12.7 billion in 2026 to $19.4 billion by 2030. Speakers at the summit proposed a raft of measures, including the need for stronger regulation, more consistent taxation models, responsible gaming frameworks, better enforcement against illegal operators.
I know this is part of the issue, responsible gambling, issues of addiction. Those are issues that, definitely need continuous engagement. And how can we, both the platform providers or the game providers, provide products that also are sensitive to the players that, you look at the vulnerable, I would say the vulnerable.
I think every stakeholder plays a role with government to actually safeguard the industry and make sure that there's responsible gaming. I think from a provider's point of view and from Wiggler's point of view, what we try and do is the education aspect. From a provider's point of view, we try to make sure that the games comply and that we distribute them in the safest way.
Moving on, African 100 meters record holder Ferdinand Omanyala faced a tough test against some of the world's fastest sprinters at the Rome Diamond League meeting in Italy, finishing 8th as Olympic champion Noah Niles stormed to victory. The 2022 Commonwealth Games champion clocked 10.11 seconds in a race that featured some of the biggest names in world sprinting. Now, despite missing out on a podium place, Omanyala's appearance in Rome forms part of his preparations for the major championships later this season as he continues to test himself against the world's elite sprinters on the Diamond League circuit. Margaret Akidor was 8th in the women's 5,000 meters as Caroline Nyaga finished 12th. African champion Julia Siego was placed 7th in the javelin throw with a best of 79.89 meters.
Resumed. Still the king, still the master, still the man to beat. Noah Lyles. Jacobs get a good start, not because Anthony. No, Anthony's absolutely flying, and Anthony's got this at the moment. Jacobs trying to get there, but here comes Lyles. Lyles is charging, and Lyles gets it! 9:88.
And those were all the sports stories we had for you tonight. My name is Caren Kibbet, and our sign language interpreter this evening has been Anne Wangeshi.
And my name is John Kago. We thank you most sincerely for choosing Easy Friday tonight. Coming up after this, I love this on Easy Friday. It's the disco funk. DJ Cole Jackson gearing up, getting your music ready to get you jiggling up. All right. Many thanks. Good night. So long.
Good night.
We do not have a special society, so it has to start with us.
We still have a large number of people who doesn't know the rights of persons with disability. We still have a large number of people who are not exposed. Parents and guardians, they are still hiding persons with disability.
Nimekuwa na challenge moja tu ya kumpeleka shule. Juu shule yenye ameitwa ni huko Kilimani. Ukimpeleka shule za huku, wanakuambia wataki mtoto haoni. Juu ati tukimweka huko kwa class ni kumpotezea.